Hello, good morning and welcome back to the fish locker, out on a beautiful, dull, blustery Cornish day on the rocks. Yeah, it's absolutely howling. I've took myself down underneath all these rocks here to come and say hello to you because it's gusting like 30-35 mile an hour winds today and there's intermittent rain through. But we have very large spring tides, so I'm out on the rocks anyway. The area that of course I've come to here a few times before. This place is amazing for mussels. Now, this is what this place is known for. Brilliant, large mussels, like that. So yeah, I'm out to do a bit of an explore down on the low tide line. We've got about another 3/4 of the ebb. Sorry, we've got about another 3/4 of an hour of the ebb, meaning the tide's going to be going out for another 45 minutes. I'm going to follow it right down and look at all the rocks and the cracks and the crannies and the rock pools and see if there's any I can find down there. And on the way back up, I'm going to collect some of these. Now, immediately I will mention that there is an opportune time to collect shellfish from the shore. And that's it. It goes back to an old wives' tale. And it's, don't collect filter feeding shellfish in months without an R. It's like May, June, July, August. The months in the summer is when there's more algae in the water. Some algae are toxic, the filter feeders accumulate them. So months in like winter and spring, perfect. This is why I'm here for these. And these are present all year round. And it's quite easy to catch them. They don't run very fast. Now in fact, what they do is they have little anchors. It's called a beard or a byssus. And they use it to hang onto the rocks. Can you see that one there, look, how it's hanging on? So all of these little clusters of mussels, that's another big one actually. I'll take them too. I will be picking up the odd ones and twos as I find them on the way down, but because these are quite high up on the tide line, I can get these on the way back. So yeah, we'll get moving down there. There's quite a lot of them, isn't there? I am curious, and you see like these little holes, what they go into. I imagine they must start off and it'll be flat, and just a little tiny bit of motion side to side like that, or side to side of the waves rocking them, will end up burrowing these holes. Yeah, there is a good few. Now they are really tough, so walking over them like this is you aren't going to smash them because they live a hard life in the surf anyway. Yeah. There's a couple of nice ones here. You might notice that what I'm doing is I'm only picking select ones. I'm not taking everything. Just one from here, one from there, one from here. There's a nice big one. I think I'll take that one and that one and that one. See, don't take everything because they are supporting each other. They're giving each other shelter. So just take a few. Also, if you take everything from one spot, there's no way for them to replenish their numbers. So just a few from everywhere, not all of one place. And it's so that they can sustain themselves, so they can replenish, so they anchor around each other for shelter. So if you leave them exposed, not only are they not as secure, but also they can't replenish their numbers. Everything must be done in a sustainable manner. That's another thing what you'll see me doing is I do feel slightly responsible personally if I find any lost fishing gear on the shore. So I'll pick that up as well and I'll dispose of it in a bin when we leave. Tell you what, I'm not sure what it's going to be like when we get down there because the weather's been that rough. It's moved loads of sand about. Everything's really stirred up. Going to come out foraging on the shore like this, yeah, the main thing is you need to understand what the tides are doing. Like, I know that the tide's still going out, so I know when I'm walking down here, I can walk about down here perfectly fine for another half an hour before I even need to think about coming back. just because the tide's going to still be going out. Now when it turns round and when it starts flooding back in, it is going to come in fast because it's a very large tide. So yeah, you just need to be aware of your surroundings. Loads of orange sponges round here. Some big limpets as well. Some dog whelks. These are carnivorous. These will come around and get on top of a limpet like that, and they've got a little tooth which they bore a hole into it and then eat the insides. Yeah, these pools here, they haven't usually got this much water in. It's still being held back by by all that swell you can see there. Look, little spots like that is what you're looking for. See if I can get over there without slipping. Whoop. Little spots like this. No, there's too much disturbance. There's too much disturbance, I can tell that by the amount of sand and seaweed that's jammed up in there. Yeah. Try further down there. That's it's half and half. Sometimes a bit of bad weather can be brilliant, and other times it can completely knock it on the head. It just depends. Every day is different, every tide's different. You can see here how rough it's been by all the spume, all the foam and everything. Now there's nothing wrong. It's not scum, it's not sewage. It's just when you get a lot of turbulent water like what we've got out there now. Yeah, it stirs it up into all this. It's called spume. Yeah, those waves are big enough to make me want to back up a bit. I was stood there 10 seconds ago. Yeah, there is a lot of motion in the water today. All of these little gullies here is all where I wanted to come and have a look for things like crabs and lobsters. Unfortunately, there's just that much motion still running around. It'd be difficult to do it safely. We'll press on up here and have a look in the rock pools, and then maybe head back and pick them mussels up. There's some fantastic limpets around here, isn't there? Some absolute monsters. We do have some viewers from the Pacific Islands, and they assure me that these are a delicacy. They call them opihi. Yeah. Well, that's a big one there. You can see how much turbulence, how much wave action and sand must come through here, because it's rubbed the top off that one, hasn't it? Yeah, loads of them. There is a lovely painted top shell. Gorgeous, aren't they? Unfortunately, as far as the rock pools go, it's just too turbulent, it's just too dangerous down there to be able to get right down to the low tide line. I've had a little skulk about in a couple of the gullies that we could get to, and there's been that much wave action. Most of the holes that should have crabs and lobsters in are either jam-packed full of bits of pebbles and weed and like little bits of sand. And the crabs and lobsters, they're not stupid. They don't like being trapped in a hole. So as soon as all this weather started, they'll have just bugged straight out and they'll be out in deeper water while all this rough weather carries on. Just noticed here in this pool we have a lot of young sugar kelp. I really like these. I don't know what it is about them, but I think it just looks like a crocodile's back or like an alligator's back. You know, like if there was one, you see like an alligator sat in like a bayou or a swamp, you see their back sticking out. I think that's what it reminds me of. Look, yeah, pink coral weeds, more orange sponge, pepper dulse. This is bladderwrack. You have normal dulse. Yeah. Let's go back and find them big mussels. Then I tell you what, them waves out there, I don't know how well the camera portrays it, but there's a hell of a surf going on. Anyway, tide's starting to turn now. Oh, it nearly caught me then. Yeah. Wouldn't mind finding a few of those today. I guess that goes to show you don't want to turn your back on it. When you get further up the coast, like further up the shore, you do find that they are packed in very tight, aren't they? But these are all tiny. And the further we got down there, further we got to the low tide line, they were bigger, but they were less frequent, weren't they? This is what I mean about how they give shelter to each other. Like when they're all locked in like that, there's not going to dislodge them. But this is kind of the size that you want to be taking. You can see here what I mean about how much sand's getting moved around. Like the little holes that are at the bottom of here, if there was a crab or a lobster in it, see when all these waves come in, how much sand they're bringing with them. Yeah, any of the holes that are down there are just getting absolutely ram-packed full of sand. So if there's a lobster or a crab in there, it'd just get buried and it'd die. So that's why, that's kind of why I reckon I haven't found absolutely anything. I found one velvet swimming crab right at the back of a hole. It's just because with this much turbulence, all the sand, all the little rocks, everything gets rammed about the spot. Well, look, it's down in the bottom of there and there would be like a little cave, and all this sand. Watch how much of a difference there is there. Look. Very easily get caught out like that, wouldn't you? Anyway, let's go. I've made my way up the beach now. I've chucked myself down inside of here because it is absolutely howling and it's starting to rain. But yeah, look, I've got a nice feed of mussels. Now it is important at this stage to leave the beard on. If you pull the beard out, it kills the mussel. And what I want to do is I'm gonna purge these for at least 24 hours. All I'm going to do there is I'm going to fill the bucket up full of water. I'm going to put it in the garage and I'm going to put an aerator in there. And it just lets the water circulate, so that if they've got any sand or any silt or anything in, it'll spit them out. Now these have been collected from like an open coast, clean sandy beach. So they're not going to have very much mud in them. They're probably going to just have a little bit of sand. If you're collecting mussels or shellfish, mussels, cockles, anything like that, from an inside an estuary, you might find you have to purge them for 2 or 3 days. And all you do there is you just keep changing the water until the water is clean. These, I know these are going to be pretty clean, so I'm expecting 24 hours. But yeah, after that, I've graded them all now and I've made sure I've got enough that I need of the right size. And then just before we're about to cook them, we'll pull the beards off, we'll smash all the little barnacles off. You see, some of them have got a couple of barnacles on. Some of them are quite clean, like that one's got no barnacles. But when it comes time to prep them, you take the byssus out, take all the barnacles off. That one's got a little limpet on it as well. Yeah. And I'll find a bin for this. There is an initiative that I've been promoting through the channel for the last couple of years. It's called Take 5. And what that is there is that it doesn't matter if you're going on the beach, on the bank, in the woods, anywhere like that. You spend 5 minutes or pick up 5 items of plastic, of trash, of something. Stick it in the bin on the way back. It doesn't take but a couple of minutes and every little helps. So yeah, take 5. Here are the mussels. Now I decanted the water off and this is what they've spat out. And I've put them back through and the water there is pretty clean. So yeah, they're about ready. And I've brought the mussels and cockles round to Jim's. Now if you're just watching the mussel video, I went out foraging the very next day whilst the mussels were purging and I found some cockles. So I've added them to it. And here we have the clean, purged out mussels and cockles. Now they still do have the odd barnacle on them and they still have the beards in them. You see that they've reattached some beards whilst they've been purging. So yeah, what we're going to have to do is take off all the barnacles and pull out the beards. You found a tough one there, have you?
They're all tough. That's the beauty of those coast mussels.
Yeah. Because the area that I collected them from was an area of open coast where they're subjected to quite a lot of open swells, they hang on tight, so those beards are really in there. And what are we going to be cooking today?
I'm going to do my pasta paella. It's a lovely dish. There's a Portuguese version which I think they called fideos marineros, which is like a fish soup with short strand fine pasta through it. But I heard this story, it was devised by a Spanish fisherman who went out with his crew and he went down to make their midday meal and he'd forgotten to store paella rice. So he started to make the paella but used this short strand spaghetti instead. When you've sweated down your vegetables, you give this a hard fry before you add any stock. So we'll just finish prepping these goat liquors.
What have we got? We've got...
Well, I've got red and white onions, garlic, peppers. We'll use a bit of red chilli and that will form the basis of our fideo. We'll add to that parsley and paprika.
Smoked paprika, got you.
And I'm going to do a side dish of, this is spinach I've picked this morning and washed. I'm going to fry off some finely chopped onion, lots of garlic, some anchovy fillets, wilt the spinach through it, and we'll have that as a side dish.
Wonderful.
I'm just making this up as I go along again, so we'll see.
It's the best way.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, we'll get started
Anyway,
with these. Yeah, these are a good size.
No, they're not a good size, John. They're girt liquors.
There you go. That's the official name for them. We'll get cracking with those. Now, I use a spoon, but that's because I'm less likely to jab and stab myself with a spoon. You can use a knife. You might find that some of the beards you can't get them all out, and all I'll do is those ones, when we've cooked them and they've opened up, you can pull the beards out then.
Yes.
And all I'm doing is I'm just taking the spoon and just scratching off any of the barnacles. Now there aren't that many on them. Most of them are quite clean. That looks got a couple. This is pretty much all the barnacles that we've taken off, and the beards what I could take out with there. Sorry Jim, just we've pretty much, apart from a little bit of beards that we couldn't get out, they're all ready for the pan.
Right, I'll turn the gas up, just give that another minute.
It's quite a deep pan, isn't it?
It's a deep pan. I'm going to get it red hot and we'll tip those in, clap the lid on.
So you've not got any, you're not putting any fluid in there. You're not gonna boil them, are you?
No. I may add a bit of stock when they've been in for a couple of minutes to help them steam. This is a mixture of the vegetables I cooked for last night's tea, and when we last made shellfish stock,
We did. We had
throw some down.
We had a lobster bisque, didn't we?
So I've taken some of the stock and reduced it slightly, and we'll just pass that through a sieve, and I'm going to use that as the liquid for the not fideo, the pasta paella. And this pan is warming up. I'm going to pan fry some lardons of smoked bacon.
Is that just smoked back bacon? Is it?
Smoked fat bacon, which I shredded up.
Yep.
It's going to be an enormous platter, John. I'm not going to put them all in at once because it'll.
I'll tell you what, the smell coming out of that, and the sound actually, you're right, it was like almost like gunfire. And I imagine it's the little tiny bits of water that are coming out of the mussels when they hit hot, hitting down and boiling straight off. So.
I mean, as we've got so many actually, John, I think we'll do them in 2 batches.
Okay.
So that's up high, that's up high. We want to get rid of all the crud out of there.
Yeah, it's that was one of the things that I was wondering when I was down on the shore, and I was like, well, how much is a portion? Because like obviously with rice, it's a fistful. It all depends on how much you want to eat. Yeah, and also I thought I'd collect. I can't remember if I collected 50, and I just thought that's a good number because it's like a round number. I suppose it all just depends on how much you want to eat, doesn't it?
Right, I'm going to start shredding. So I've got some bit of garlic, which I'm just going to.
So how many cloves of garlic you got altogether?
I'm going to put 4 in, I think. All the crud coming out of there.
Oh, I tell you what, we're getting some nice smells in here now. Mixture of that, the crab stock. Well, that was stock. It was crab and lobster.
Crab
wasn't it?
and lobster. Yeah. Let's give these a stir. Steaming nicely. Ow. Ooh,
A lot of them are popping already, aren't they?
Take me to the seaside. I'm mixing the red and white because the red onions were so small. I thought I'd cheat. Instead of peeling half a dozen red onions, I put 1 brown onion in as well. Just going to get rid of all this rubbish out of the pan.
All the juice that's come out of the bacon.
Yeah, we'll just, whilst the bacon is crisping up, I just wipe I pulled the bacon to the side and just wipe the pan with some kitchen paper to get rid of all that cruddy liquid. Ooh. Turn those off.
I like that clacking sound. Any specific type or just olive oil?
Regular olive oil. Don't need to use it.
That's me distracting you, sorry.
Well, no. Sorry. Wash that up then. Oil's coming up to temperature. So we'll put the onion and the garlic in. That will stir, and then
What weight of bacon was it? Just a pack?
oh, that was about 8 thick cut rashers of smoked
Yeah.
fat bacon.
Obviously, put more in if you like bacon. Put less in if you don't. Is there anything else you could have used if you're not?
Leave it out if you don't want bacon. I'm just trying to add another dimension to the dish. The cockles are all
They're popping.
there. Yeah.
What we're looking for there is it is a bit of an old wives' tale, but it does hang true. That's if you're cooking shellfish like that, and if they stay closed once you cook them, don't eat them. There are a couple of different reasons why it could be like that, but one of the main things is there's something not right about them. So if the shellfish stays closed, don't eat it. Just discard those. You might find that it's like 1 in 20, 1 in 30, maybe even we might not get any. But yeah, if it stays closed, don't eat it. Have you got any preference between red, yellow or green peppers?
I want one of each for the
Is that just for the colour?
colour. Yeah. I mean, red pepper would be the best ones. Those long, pointy ones, the sweet red peppers, they are just delicious. But pricey at the moment, so these are the supermarket wibbly wobblies.
If you do, you get them in
They're
like a
about-
traffic light, don't you?
Yeah, they're about £1 for half a dozen peppers. And just I don't want to overcook.
Yeah, I think they've had it now. They've all pretty much popped. Oh, a little cockle. Yeah, most of the cockles have come straight out of the shells, so I just lifted them off straight away. And you've kept the liquor underneath, haven't you? So
Yeah.
I couldn't see that. Perfect.
We'll have a see what it's like. It'll be briny.
It's going to be salty, isn't it?
So let's put that. We'll remember the chili.
There's very rarely that we'll do something and we don't forget
Oh,
an ingredient, isn't there?
well, I have an excuse, John. What's yours?
Yeah.
I mean, you've got you've got full mental capacity. Oh, that bacon and garlic is just...
For any of the viewers in the UK, they understand sarcasm.
Chili's gone in. Well, half the chili.
Half of the chilli, yeah.
And let's put the peppers in.
It is lovely and colourful, isn't it?
Super.
So you've got your mussels and just a little tiny bit of stock in
I
there.
just put a little bit of stock in because I wasn't sure how hot the pan was. And there's some cockles to go in.
Because the mussels are a little bit bigger, you're giving the cockles
I'm just going
a
to
few
do
seconds less.
first time round. Went out of my head again.
And yeah, well, I've got my eyes. The smells, at this moment in time, the smell of the bacon, the smell of the onions, the stock from the bisque before, all of it, and this, the mussels and the cockles when they're cooking, it gives, it's just like a sea smell. It's just like a salty air smell. I love it.
Smells like the seaside.
Yeah.
As it
That's
should
just-
smell.
Just another clove of garlic and the rest of the chilli.
Yeah, this is for the greens.
Oh, that's for the accompaniment.
Yeah, what? Because I was thinking, it's something I planned to do if you'd managed to bring up some scallops. I was going to cook the spinach I picked with some spring cabbage. And I was going to just make this chilli and garlic mix with the anchovy fillets.
There you go, there's another video.
Well, you'll see it done in a minute.
We'll test it out like this and then we'll try it with some scallops.
I've got a couple of scallops. Well, I've written them down actually, so we mustn't lose the paper. Because there it is. It's
Oh, don't tell him. Ruin the surprise. Oh, so you've probably got 200 grams in there.
yeah,
400 grams.
400 grams.
Okay.
So,
About half.
no, that's not a third. Let's put this in. It's going to be quite good.
Oh, so you're not boiling it like you would do a pasta then?
No,
Yeah.
I I'm going to fry that off now with the vegetables, and I'm going to give that a few minutes, and we'll let the pasta soak up all of those oily bacon and vegetable juices. I'm not going to salt this because if we use
I'm going to take any of the stock or any of the brine, any of the stock or any of the stuff out of the mussels. Right, so these here, these are the first batch, the second batch is in. What do you want me to start doing with these?
Yeah, you can open those up and take the
meat out and remove any of the beards that we missed.
That's it, yes.
Cool. Well, that shows you there the difference between a cockle and a mussel. There's a cockle meat. That's what you get out of the mussels. Right, well,
there we go.
I'll get started with that. There we are. All the shells have been picked through. This is the meat from all the mussels and the cockles. And there is all the stock.
Okay. Whilst you've got that, a teaspoon of paprika. Oh, smell that paprika. It's gone in there now.
Yeah. So that's all that's come out. So even
that
though
was at the bottom of the stock.
Yeah, even though I'd purged them, that was at the bottom of the stock that's come out of all the mussels and cockles. And all you've done is you've just added a little bit of it to your extra stock.
A quarter of a pint of this.
It's briny though, and it was
It is briny.
super salty.
When you're tipping the bowl of stock in, just do it gently and leave the
Oh, so you can kind of
residue in the-
decant it so it leaves all the heavy particles at the
Yes.
bottom. This smells absolutely amazing.
It's had a couple of minutes to get the paprika. It's about 500 ml, if that.
Ah, so
500 ml.
the pasta's going to take up the stock now.
Yeah. Got a jar of semi-sun-dried cherry tomatoes. Put a little bit of the oil in, and it's going to use a bit of the oil to cook my.
So what you've got in here, you've got your garlic, some diced garlic, some diced chilli, half a red onion, and a little bit of olive oil.
Yes, and I'm just heating up a bit of the oil from that jar.
Got you.
Let's that get hot. Probably have to add a little more stock, you know. It's James's chips will cook.
Pommes frites.
I'll let that cook out. I'll add a knob of butter and we'll boil the spinach. Probably not all of that.
So you grow your own spinach?
Yes, I grow it over winter in the cold greenhouse. I just sow some perpetual spinach in the bed and some
So
cabbage.
for people that don't know what we're doing here, this little tub here is all little offcuts that go to the compost in your allotment.
Yes. I need a stirring device. That smells good. Just let that turn the heat down a bit. That will just help it steam.
So that'll just soften all the onions up and everything on it.
Put a tad more stock in there, not a lot, just a. I'm using the sieve because there's some
Yeah, I can see that.
bits.
I was going to ask roughly how much do you add, or is it just?
Well, that's probably a pint in total. And we'll squeeze. Whoa. Thought I'd taken
You would have
the
thought.
pips
Jim
out.
says, "Oh, I'll take the pips out," and I've just seen like 5 dropping
No,
there.
you exaggerate. The 3.
Are they anchovies in brine or anchovies in oil? Or?
These are anchovies in
Oh,
oil.
that smell that's come out of there now. Oh, it's just got to me. That is amazing.
Isn't it?
It's quite fragrant, isn't it? It's got like It's not like garlic or chilli or it's.
It's magic.
Oh,
that's
wow.
what it is.
There's a sweetness to it as well, isn't there?
Flat leaf parsley. A lot. Good ounce, I suppose. And leaves will benefit from the grind of pepper as well as that. Take some out for Carol. What I'm going to add to this, Carol, probably tomorrow, is I've got some spicy chicken thighs, which I cook and shred up, and then we'll mix them together. So, in with the mussel meat. This is already cooked, so we only need to allow it.
Oh wow!
Take the
I missed one. Yeah, the beardy one. It slipped through. It's curious, isn't it? Sometimes how some of them are pale and some of them are dark.
Yeah, indeed.
Yet there seems to be no rhyme or reason to it. I will have to look into that. I was racking my brain. I was looking at grey matter to try and remember about the sex of mussels. But I think it's like they're pretty much they're hermaphroditic, being that they can be both male and female. The way you can tell with scallops is by the roe. Is the white part of the roe is the male part, and the orange part is the female part. So if you see one that's predominantly orange, it's a female. If you see one that's predominantly white, it's a male. But they've all got both. A little bit of useless trivia for you there.
Now, because the spinach is well drained, I'm just going to put a splash of stock there.
Just to add a bit of steam to it, eh?
Yes.
Oh, the smell of just the culmination of like the seafood, and that as well. I wasn't expecting that to smell like it does. It smells amazing.
Right, I've turned that off, John, so we'll just let that stand for a minute and we can all relax. Let's try and turn this over. Try that.
Wilted down to, God, not even a quarter of the size it was, has it?
Give it a gentle
So
squeeze.
you're keeping the juice in the pan to wilt the rest down with.
Yeah, sun-dried.
So just as an extra to try it.
Cherry tomato, add an extra dimension.
Okay.
And how many pips?
Am I guessing? Well, I can see 2 in there.
I saw Jamie Oliver do this.
How many we got?
3.
3. Ah, well.
What I'll do is I'll put that back in and we'll stir it through. This is for you. There's quite a hit off the chilli.
The chilli's coming after, doesn't it?
It does. That for half a chilli.
I got a little tiny wisp of seafood, a little tiny wisp of paprika, and then the heat comes through from the chilli afterwards. Yeah. Yeah. Now afterwards, it's a smokiness.
Yeah.
Love things like this because it's not one taste, is it? It's a taste that kind of develops and matures in your mouth.
Up against the pan. Pasta. Paella. Leave that there.
Yeah, like we were talking when we tried the taste. It kind of develops in your mouth, doesn't it? You get a set of taste, and then the heat comes through from the chilli afterwards. It's delicious. This, I wasn't sure what to expect because of the smells when you were cooking it, but there's more of the taste of the anchovies than I thought there was going to be.
That has a zing to it, doesn't it? Lovely. I should like that with. Be lovely with scallops. That's what it.
Would you dice them so they're a little bit chewier? because I like the fact that the mussels are a little bit chewy in this. I've already had a seconds, but I think I'm going to go around for a little bit more of that. The sun-dried tomatoes definitely add to the spinach accompaniment. But yeah, that is just amazing. Just the right amount of spice as well. It's not overpowering, but you still get the heat after it, don't you?
Next, if I do it again, I'm going to put it into the sieve and let it strain out for a bit. Do you want another spoonful of this?
Just a little one, yeah, please. Thank you very much. What about you? Are you going to try some?
He's got fish fingers coming.
There we are. Oh, it was, well, absolutely delicious. I've even enjoyed mopping up in there. You've just told me, and I forgot, pasta fideo, or a pasta paella.
Pasta, well, I call it pasta paella. Otherwise they end up calling it fidelio. It's not at all. Lovely.
Thank you very much.
Delicious.
I hope you enjoyed joining us. I hope you found it interesting. All the very best. See you later.
Bye bye.